You have 10 unfinished projects sitting on your desk, yet you don't have the energy to even think about the 11th. It's not because you're lazy, it's because your brain is leaking power through a psychological trap known as the Zeigarnik Effect. Right now, your mind is obsessing over every open loop you've left behind, from that half-written email to the book you started months ago. These incomplete tasks act like background apps on a phone, silently draining your mental battery until you're running on empty. Most people try to push through with willpower, but that only leads to burnout because you're fighting your own biology. If you want to stop this energy leak and master your mind, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We are at video 9 of this brain rewiring roadmap, and you won't want to miss the critical pieces coming next. In this video, I'm going to show you how to identify these invisible energy leaks and, more importantly, how to close them. By the end of this, you'll learn the exact protocol to reclaim 50% of your wasted brain power and finally become a person who finishes what they start. To understand why you're stuck, we have to look at a 1920s restaurant in Vienna. A psychologist named Zeigarnik noticed something strange. Waiters could remember incredibly complex orders perfectly, but only until the food was served. The moment the bill was paid, the memory vanished. This is the science of unfinished business. Your brain treats an incomplete task like an active alarm bell that refuses to stop ringing. It creates a state of cognitive tension, a biological priority system that forces your mind to keep unaccomplished goals in your immediate working memory. While finished tasks are filed away and deleted to save space, unfinished ones stay in the active folder, constantly pinging your consciousness. But here is the scary part. This fatigue isn't from working too hard. It's from remembering too hard. And if you don't fix this, no amount of sleep will ever make you feel rested. Every time you start a project and leave it at 90%, your brain doesn't just let it go. It keeps that loop open, running in the background like a heavy software program that slows down your entire operating system. This is why you feel drained, even on days when you haven't actually done much. Your mental RAM is being consumed by the sheer weight of everything you haven't finished. Think about that 2 a.m. feeling when you're staring at the ceiling, wide awake. You aren't thinking about the 10 emails you successfully sent that morning. You are obsessing over the one email you drafted but didn't hit send on. That is the Zeigarnik Effect in its purest, most painful form. Your brain is trying to be helpful. It thinks that by keeping you stressed, it's ensuring you won't forget to survive. But in the modern world, this survival mechanism has become a trap. We are surrounded by more open loops than any generation in history. Browser tabs, half-read articles, and unfinished DIY projects, all screaming for attention at once. When you have too many of these loops, your brain enters a state of perpetual high alert, leading to a type of burnout that sleep cannot fix. You don't need more rest. You need a system to tell your brain that it's finally okay to let go. The architecture of open loops is far more complex than a simple to-do list. These loops exist on a spectrum, ranging from micro loops to macro loops. A micro loop is that nagging thought about buying milk on the way home, or a text message you read but didn't reply to. A macro loop is the unfinished novel in your drawer, the fitness goal you abandoned in February, or the career pivot you've been researching for 3 years. Your brain doesn't distinguish between the two when it comes to the Zeigarnik Effect. It treats every unclosed loop as a high-priority interrupt. Whether it's a trivial errand or a life-defining project, each one occupies a slot in your mental RAM. The more slots you fill with unfinished business, the less power you have for the task actually in front of you. Wait, if open loops are so damaging, why does your brain keep forcing you to start new things? The answer lies in a dopamine trap that most people fall for without realizing it. This leads to a measurable decline in your cognitive performance, often referred to as a functional IQ drop. When your brain is constantly scanning for open loops, it creates what psychologists call attention residue. Part of your mind is literally stuck in the past, ruminating on what isn't done, which leaves only a fraction of your intelligence available for the present. You are trying to drive a Ferrari, but your brain is busy running 50 background diagnostic tests on parts of the car you aren't even using yet. The anxiety of unfinished work acts like static on a radio frequency, drowning out your ability to think deeply or solve complex problems. Our brains are biologically wired to crave novelty. When you start a brand new project, you get a massive dopamine spike. It's the new project energy, the excitement of the first page, the first mile, or the first day of a new hobby. However, as you move toward the middle of the task, the novelty wears off, and the dopamine levels crash. Completion, ironically, requires a different kind of mental grit that doesn't offer the same instant chemical reward as starting. To escape the discomfort of the boring middle, your brain suggests a brilliant idea. Let's start something else. You get a fresh hit of dopamine from the new idea, while the old project becomes just another open loop draining your battery. This creates a vicious cycle. You become a starter but never a finisher. You have a graveyard of 90% complete projects because your brain is addicted to the 0 to 10% phase. Understanding this architecture is the first step to breaking the spell. You have to realize that every time you say yes to a new idea without finishing the old one, you aren't being productive. You are just chasing a temporary chemical high at the expense of your long-term mental health and cognitive clarity. To stop the energy leak, you need a systematic way to signal your brain that the threat of unfinished business has been addressed. This is what I call the closure protocol, a set of tools designed to shut down open loops and reclaim your focus. The first step is the brain dump. Your brain is a terrible office but a great studio. It's meant for processing ideas, not storing them. When you keep your to-do list in your head, the Zeigarnik Effect forces your mind to keep that active folder open indefinitely. You need to move everything, from the giant project to the tiny errand, from your mind onto paper or a digital tool. By externalizing these loops, you provide your brain with a physical placeholder. This act alone effectively fools the Zeigarnik Effect into releasing the tension, freeing up your biological RAM for deep work. Next, we implement the dark shutdown rule. Most of us stop working, but our brains don't. You need a ritual to signal that the hunt is over. At the end of your workday, take 5 minutes to review your remaining open loops and explicitly schedule when you will address them. By creating a plan for the unfinished task, you satisfy the brain's need for closure. When you utter a specific phrase or close your laptop with intention, you are telling your subconscious, "We are safe, we have a plan, you can stop the alarm now." This prevents that 2 a.m. wake-up call and allows for actual recovery. Finally, to overcome the dopamine-driven resistance of the boring middle, use the ladder technique. The brain resists finishing because the end often feels like a massive, looming wall. The ladder technique involves breaking the remainder of a project into steps so small they feel almost insulting. Instead of finish the report, your next step is open the document and write 1 sentence. By lowering the bar, you bypass the brain's fear center. Each tiny rung you climb provides a small win, creating a new sustainable dopamine loop that rewards completion rather than just novelty. You aren't just working, you are strategically closing the doors to your mental distractions. In the end, we must embrace a hard truth. The world doesn't reward you for what you start. It only rewards you for what you finish. You can have 1,000 brilliant ideas, but if they remain open loops, they aren't assets. They are liabilities draining your potential. True success is not about the new project energy, it's about the discipline to close the circle. When you become a master of completion, you finally become the architect of your own reality. I challenge you right now. Identify that one nagging task you've been avoiding for weeks and close that loop today. Write it in the comments. What is the one thing you are committing to finish in the next 24 hours? This public declaration is your first step in reclaiming total control over your brain. But closing your energy leaks is just the preparation. Now that you've reclaimed 50% of your biological RAM, what are you going to do with it? Don't forget to subscribe to stay with me for the upcoming Neuro-Wealth chapter. In the next video, video 10 of this series, I'm going to show you how to funnel that massive energy into the monk mode protocol. We will explore how to disappear for 30 days to build an empire and rewire your mind. Click the next video on your screen. The real hunt has just begun.